Hi, this is Rob DeRusso, and welcome to a new episode of Dead on Arrival. Oh, I almost forgot the name of the show. And with us tonight is my co-host Casper. How you doing, Casper?
I'm doing all right.
Great. So let's recap the first episode where basically Negan makes Rick his bitch, and they capture Daryl, and basically Maggie is a ruin, and she wants to basically try to fight off Negan's army. I don't know where that's going to go, but in the conditions she's in right now, that's not a good idea. But anyhow, I gotta be honest with you. The second episode, didn't really care for it. It was kind of boring. There were some okay parts, but compared to the first episode, didn't really care for it that much. What about you?
Well, it was slow, but necessary.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had to get introduced to these people. So
Well, yeah, and one thing about The Walking Dead, and a lot of people still complain about this, is that you are going to have some slow episodes. Like, it's going to happen, but those slow episodes build up to something bigger. That's what a lot of people don't understand. I remember a few years ago, like during season 2, people were complaining that season 2 was too boring. It didn't have enough zombie action. And I basically said, if you want constant zombie action, play Left 4 Dead. Like, seriously. Like, Walking Dead is not focused around the zombies. It's focused on the survivors and how they able to struggle to keep their humanity.
yeah, it really is, and I mean, it's more than a zombie television show. I mean, it's a misconception to think that that's all it is, and when people want that to be all it is, it's just it's just silly to me. That's not going to be a good show.
And here's the thing. One episode that really sticks in my mind from season 2 is Cherokee Rose. I think is that the 4th episode? Do I have that right? Cherokee Rose, where Glenn goes into a well to try to entice that walker from coming out. I think it's Cherokee Rose. But anyways, I could be wrong. But anyhow, that was a slow episode. It was kind of boring. I mean, a lot of people complained about that episode, a lot of people are like, "Oh, not enough zombies." Well, no, it's not what the show's about. It's graphic novels about.
Yeah, I mean, it's about the survivors and their lives. I mean, it's yes, there's zombies everywhere, but that's not all it is.
You hear about George Romero?
No, what's that?
He's basically saying that The Walking Dead ruined zombies.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like this guy, and I have the highest respects of George Romero. I think George Romero is a fantastic director. Like, I grew up watching George Romero movies. Like, I saw Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, Land of the Dead. I think there's another one, too. I don't remember what it's called, but, it's not, it's okay for what it is, but it's not The Walking Dead. And I think George Romero is eating sour grapes, like, because he's probably mad because he didn't think of it and Robert Kirkman did. And I just think that's really petty of him.
I guess we could say Romero wrote the book on zombies, to begin with, but it's kind of like saying that every fantasy movie should be what Tolkien's vision of a fantasy, epic should be. It's not. You're not going to get that. Not everything's going to be fucking Lord of the Rings,
But here's the thing about Romero is his movies got progressively bad, like the zombie movies. Like Night of the Dead, classic movie, awesome movie, great movie. And then Dawn of the Dead, which is my favorite zombie movie from Romero. And I'm talking the original Dawn of the Dead, not the crappy remake, the original Dawn of the Dead, like the 1978 Dawn of the Dead. That was a good movie. Then Day of the Dead came out. It was decent, but that's where it just went downhill because I like the idea of trying to teach zombies to do things. I thought that was unique and different. But Land of the Dead was so bad. That was such a bad movie. So I don't know why. I don't know why George Romero is like so pissed off about The Walking Dead. And here's the thing: they actually offered him, and this was like a few years ago. They offered him to direct an episode of The Walking Dead, and he turned it down. He basically said he wasn't interested, and that The Walking Dead was his soap opera. That's basically what he said.
Well, you know, I could turn that around on Romero and say that his movies were fucking B movies at best, and that they only got where they're at because of fucking cult following.
Right. But you know what? I have a lot of respect for Romero, and I would love to see him direct a Walking Dead episode. Like, I would be fine with it as long as he stuck to the formula. Not that, as long as he didn't like go off script and like do like he does his movies. And you know what's awesome about Romero? They actually respect him. Like, Robert Kirkman has a lot of respect for Romero, and I'll tell you how. There is already a couple George Romero references in The Walking Dead. Now, if you don't know what they are, I'll tell you. Do you know the part in season 4 where they go into the tunnel and you see like a bunch of walkers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one of those walkers is Bub from Day of the Dead.
I think Romero should, get his due to whatever degree, but at the same time, I don't, like I said, he made B movies at best. They got a cult following. Congratulations to him. That's awesome. But it's not like you get to write the fucking book on what zombie films have to be now.
Right, and another reference is in the season premiere of season 5. Do you remember Creepshow? Okay, well, that was a collaboration between Stephen King and George Romero. And do you remember the story in Creepshow called The Crate?
Yeah.
Okay, do you know the part in season 5 where they're at Terminus and Rick and I think it was Rick that opened up like one of the crates and that crazy bearded guy came out and said, we're the same. Well, if you look to the right of the screen, you'll see the crate from Creepshow.
Mm-hmm.
So these are like the little nuances and Easter eggs you find that are George Romero related. And I'm sorry, I disagree. I don't think Robert Kirkman ruined zombies. Like, seriously. Like, I don't think that at all. Like, I think the special effects of the walkers that Greg Nicotero does, they're fantastic. It's fantastic makeup work. I mean...
Well, I won't say zombies have never been what they are in Walking Dead, but I mean, they took it to another level. So, yeah. Nobody's gonna sit around and call The Walking Dead a fucking B movie or a fucking B television show. It's not something that's gonna have a cult following. It's a huge thing that's been huge since it first aired. Like, people have just been like, "Well, oh," but Romero, you go back and watch Night of the Living Dead, the original, and like, you can laugh 75% of the way through that movie. I mean, it's just, it is what it is. Did it open the door for what zombie movies and stuff are? Like, yeah, but I don't know. It's not like, oh, this is so amazing, we can't ever change this, or nobody can do it better or differently.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, when you look at The Walking Dead, like, it's focused on the living. Like, remember the tagline for season 3, Fight the Dead, Fear the Living? Well, that's basically what it is. It's like, don't worry about the zombies. The zombies are very manageable. Walkers. The walkers are very manageable, okay? You need to worry about people that are living, like the people who can cause you problems. I mean, look at Negan. Negan is going to cause a lot of problems. Like, I can predict right now, Negan's going to cause a lot of problems. And Negan is far more dangerous than any walker. I mean, this guy bashes people's head in with a barbed wire baseball bat. And even going further back than that, you had Shane, who was willing to kill Rick, just to be with Lori. Then you had the governor, who was like not as sadistic as Negan, but he was pretty bad. I mean, you had the claimers, you had, that police officer Dawn. I don't know if you want to count her as a villain, but you had her. You had, the wolves. I mean, and now you have the saviors. I mean, it's the living you really need to worry about when watching the show.
Well, yeah, that's a definite. I mean, the living can actually, band together and wreak a lot of fucking havoc. So
right. And here's the thing: in the George Romero movies, the zombies are treated as, well, for the most part, the danger. They're considered the danger. I mean, yeah, you have people like, I don't remember the guy's name, but he was Captain Rhodes from Day of the Dead. You have somebody like Captain Rhodes, who's kind of a sociopath, who basically doesn't give a shit and is willing to get people killed, But it's not at the scope where Walking Dead is. Like, were there even any villains in like the George Romero movies other than Day of the Dead? Because I can't think of any. I mean, just that Captain Rhodes guy,
Yeah, and not to the extent that we see in The Walking Dead. I mean, it's just on a totally different level.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I think Romero needs to chill out. Like, seriously. Like, okay, you're the one that bought it into the media. You're the one that started. Great, congratulations. But let's like do something different and do something that people can enjoy. Because honestly, dude, if that show was just about the zombies, I'd get pretty bored pretty fast.
Oh yeah, everybody would.
I mean
it's entertaining, but it's it's only so entertaining.
yeah, I mean, you got to have story. You have to have story. You have to have character development. You have to have characters that are memorable, characters that you can relate to, and that's like something I don't like about Fear of the Walking Dead is I cannot relate to the characters, and they're unrelatable. I can't get into them. I mean, believe me, I've been seeing a lot of people on Facebook who are like, oh, Negan's an asshole. I want Negan dead, and Negan better die this season. And I have this friend of mine named Jamie, and who he thinks he's a tough guy, and he's like, oh, I would kill Negan, I would take out his saviors, and I was like, yeah, sure you would. And then he's like, Negan's gonna die very soon, and Maggie's gonna kill him. I was like, no, you obviously have not read the comic book. Negan sticks around for a very long time. Actually, I think he's still alive. Isn't he still alive in the comic book?
I'll let you get through the third compendium.
Well, I kind of already know because I had somebody tell me that that Rick slits his throat, but he doesn't die. Like, and I guess he's like taken prisoner or something, and he becomes part of the Whisperer group.
Yeah, it's definitely going to get interesting, but I think one of the things we need to look at is what we saw in the episode this past week. Yeah, it was a kind of slow episode. It was the introduction to the kingdom, and you get this feeling, from the beginning of the show where Ezekiel is almost a clown, except for goddamn, he's got a tiger. But when he opens up to Carol, it's that moment where we realize, okay, this is a dude that's just trying to get by, and he has a large group of people there, and I understand what the kid was talking about. How Ezekiel says we can't take on these people, the saviors, because we'll lose a lot of folks. I think it's coming to a push and shove competition, and Rick's group in Alexandria by themselves, they can't deal with the saviors. But you bring together the kingdom with Rick's group, with a little bit of willpower and some training, and the saviors are not such a formidable figure anymore. So
Right.
we'll see what happens.
Right. I mean, I think the tiger is cool. Like, I think that's a great addition to the show. Like, I really think the tiger is really awesome. But, like I said, it was just, I mean, I understand we're gonna have slow episodes. It's gonna happen. It's happened in the past. But if I was to compare the season premiere to this episode, I like the season premiere way better. And getting back to my friend Jamie, it's like, a lot of the people are pissed off about Glenn. Well, I kind of knew it was going to happen. I mean, I knew it was going to happen because it's in the comic book. And a lot of people are like, well, they don't always go by the comic book. I'm like, dude, there's no way they're going to change the Glenn death. Like, no way. I mean, in the comic book, it was just Glenn. And the TV show was Abraham and Glenn. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even know Abraham was going to get killed. Like, I just thought it was going to be Glenn. Like, I just thought it was going to be Glenn. And then, when Daryl, who was a catalyst of causing Glenn's death, well, at least that's my opinion, when he punches Negan in the face, it's like I knew he was going to be Glenn because when he was giving his little lecture, he was standing right next to Glenn, like, yep, Glenn's going to die, like, guaranteed. And I was right. I knew Glenn was going to get beaten because it's in the comic book. And they would have to, like, rewrite the whole rest of the story if they did not kill off Glenn. Like, can you imagine if Glenn didn't die? It's like they would have to rewrite. Wouldn't they have to rewrite everything?
Well, not necessarily. They'd have to kill him off soon, though. I mean, he couldn't have lasted too much longer. It's unfortunately just how it is. He had his run. He made it way further than he should have. For all the comic book fans out there, we all know he made it longer than he should have. But yeah, he didn't have much longer to last. I thought if it was just going to be one death, that it would be Abraham actually. But because Abraham was coming to that transitional point in his life, and so that's a great pivotal moment to kill off a character that was going to that you feel like is going to develop into something more, and then just boom, they're gone. So I was expecting the Glenn death, but I wasn't 100% sure. But I was almost 100% sure that Abraham was fucking gone. So when I saw him go first, I was like, "Yep, I was right." And then, Glenn comes behind it. It's like, "Oh shit, that happened."
Well, yeah, and I just read the part that where he kills Glenn in the comic book, and like. Do you know the part where Negan says to him, and this I'm talking about the TV show, where Negan says to him, he goes, "Are you okay?" He goes, "Buddy, you act like you're trying to speak." He's like, "You just took a hell of a hit." That's like in the comic book. That's like in the comic book. He's like, I cracked your skull so hard your eyeballs popping out. It's fucking gross. Like, that's in the comic book. Like, they did not deviate much from the comic book when it came to Glenn's death at all. I mean, the only difference was Abraham dies from an arrow in the eye in the comic book, and he dies by the hands of Negan in the TV show. That's like the only difference. Like, basically, Denise's death was supposed to be it was originally Abraham's death.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it funny because I got to the part in the comic book where he takes an arrow in the eye, and he's like still talking. He's like, and that's like. That was the same thing they did in the future where he's still, I'm sorry, if I get an arrow in the eye, I'm not going to continue talking. I'm probably going to, die instantly. He just kept on talking. I was like, holy shit,
Well, the brain doesn't shut down automatically depending on where it's hit,
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of those things that could potentially happen in that sort of situation. But it was a shocking death. I won't say it was brutal. I mean, it wasn't anywhere near the most brutal death in the show, but it was a shocking one, because she's just standing there talking, and then she's, what the fuck? Like, it was quick, and it was shocking to see that.
Yeah, I found it really funny that that a lot of parents are like pissed off about the first episode, saying it was too violent, it was too graphic. I think it's like, don't let your kids watch it. I think we talked about this last week. Don't let your kids watch The Walking Dead. Like, just don't. It's not
Yeah.
for them. It's an adult show. Don't let them watch it. Like if that show came out when I was a kid, my parents would not let me watch that. They're like, hell no, you're not watching that. Like I remember when I was like 4 years old. I was 4 years old. I wanted to see Jaws. And, I'm showing my age here. And Jaws was like PG. Like it was a PG movie. It wasn't rated R. It was PG. And my mom would not let me see that movie. Like I did not get to see Jaws in the theater. Actually, I never saw Jaws in the theater. But come on, I mean, parents need to these parents need to stop bitching and let us enjoy our show. Like if you don't want to watch it, turn the channel. If you don't want your kids watching it, turn the channel. It's that easy.
Yeah, my kids aren't watching that show. I mean, they can go back and watch it later in life if they want to, but
Yeah.
right now, at their age, hell no.
How old are
No.
they?
My youngest is 3. My oldest is 9. Neither one of
Well,
them are of an
right.
age where they can understand any of that.
Yeah, the 3-year-old's definitely not going to understand it. The 9-year-old might, but not the 3-year-old. But even then, don't let a 9-year-old watch Walking Dead.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not meant for him, like,
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't even let my. Well, now I guess my daughter could watch it. My daughter's 14, so I guess she could watch it. But I don't know. I mean, she kind of scares easily anyway. So I tried showing my daughter Jurassic Park, and she got scared of the T-Rex. But she was about 9 years old when I showed her Jurassic Park. But I like Ezekiel. I think he's an interesting character. They kind of switched it up on the comic book though, because in the comic book, basically Negan goes to Alexandria and starts taking stuff, and then Carl shoots up his men and stows away. I'm sorry, excuse me. He stows away on the truck and then gets to the sanctuary and shoots Negan's men. And Negan basically calls off his men not to kill Carl. I know in the comic book, he kind of like mouths off to Negan and says, "I'm going to kill you," like kind of just like his father. And Negan thinks that's cute. I mean, they just kind of switched it around. It's like because Ezekiel didn't come about until after that whole thing happened. So I think they're switching it around.
Yeah, they're definitely switching some things up, and that's good. Keeps everybody on their toes, so they're not just like, "Oh, I know exactly what's going to happen." Like, no, we none of us know exactly what's going to happen. It's all a surprise until we see it, and I think that's good. That's good for the show, because otherwise we'd just be like, I already know what's going to happen. I don't even have to watch.
So, what really got me, and I didn't catch this right away because I must have just been bored of the episode. But really, I had to watch the episode again to notice this. But the guys that come to the kingdom, those are the saviors. They're like some saviors come and collect, their offering from Ezekiel, and I don't know how this is going to play out, but they're basically feeding the pigs rotted walker meat. And I don't know if that's going to infect the saviors when they eat that meat, like, especially if it's cooked, because if you remember season 5 where Gareth cuts off, the termites, the cannibals, they cut off Bob's leg, and, Bob's like, ha, you idiots, I'm tainted meat. And by the way, just for a little comic knowledge, that was actually Dale in the comic book. Nobody has read the comic book. That was actually Dale in the comic book. But once again, they switched it up. And he's like, yeah, I'm tainted meat. And then they start freaking out. So I'm wondering if the meat, if it's cooked, if the pig meat is cooked, do you think there's a possibility it's tested?
I think they're hoping that it's going to spread the disease. I mean, pigs are, very close in DNA structure to humans. But I'm not sure. Like you said, the bigger thing for me is, the digestive tract. Like, what's that going to do? How's that going to go, with the digestive tract and everything? So I think we'll have to just see where that goes. It could make them sick. Um, but I know that we already know everyone's infected.
Right.
You die, you turn.
Right.
So if they can spread enough disease among these people, then they could cause an epidemic of some sort.
Yeah, and I think that's a strategy that Ezekiel's using. He's like, yeah, I hate the Savior, so I'm going to try to, make it so, they get sick and die from the rot in the pig. So, I don't know. It's interesting to see where they're going to go with that. I'm very interested. What I'm very interested in knowing about is what they're going to do with Daryl. And I mean, because obviously, once again, comic book, Daryl is not in the comic book, and neither is Merle. Like, they're not in the comic book. I heard a rumor that Robert Kirkman was going to write Daryl into the comic book. I don't know if that's a good idea or not at this stage in the game. But, I don't know what's going to go on with Daryl, because I think we're going to find out about that next episode, Sunday night.
You know somebody we haven't seen in quite a while, and who plays a pivotal role in the comic books is Jesus. I'm wondering when Jesus is going to show his fucking ass again, because I was waiting to see him all through the first couple episodes. It's just, oh man, I can't wait for Jesus to get here. Odd thing for an atheist to say, but I was like,
Yeah.
yes, can't wait for Jesus to get here.
Right.
But, Jesus is a badass.
Yeah.
Like, he really is.
Yeah. Sometimes I can be a little mischievous and a little impish, and sometimes I like to troll. I don't always do it, but sometimes I just like to have fun with people on pages. And I think this was like last year. I was on a Walking Dead page, and I was like playing dumb. Like, I knew who Jesus was, and I was kind of playing dumb. And somebody brought up Jesus. I was like, oh, they're gonna like add a biblical theme to the show. I was just playing dumb, and people were like, no, Jesus. Jesus. I was like, Jesus, the comic book. I'm like, oh, you're talking about Jesus, our personal Lord and Savior. And people were like, dude, do you know who Jesus is? I'm like, yeah, he's in the Bible. Like, I'm just playing along with them. And and then one girl's like, you're messing with us, aren't you? I'm like, no. I'm like, who the hell's Jesus? I know it's from the Bible. And they kind of explained to me it was in the comic book. I'm like, oh, all right, so they're going with the biblical theme in The Walking Dead. That should be interesting. And they were getting so frustrated with me. I was just having like a really good laugh.
I think one of the great things we did see in this last episode was another sort of crisis of conscience with fuck, I'm losing his fucking name right now. The one that's with Carol.
Morgan.
Yeah, Morgan. Morgan seems to be having another potential crisis of conscience, because like when we see him in the scene with the saviors, it's that moment where he's like, should I just kill these motherfuckers? Like he's back to that point. He's like, I don't he seems to have lost that fervor for that idea that all life is precious. Like he's almost seems to be coming to grips with the idea that maybe some life is just not fucking precious. So I think Morgan is always someone who has the potential to be someone to be feared and to really wreak some havoc should he be pushed. So I'm interested to see if he gets pushed and where that takes him.
Yeah, I know Morgan dies in the comic book. I mean, I hate to like spoil the comic book, but doesn't Morgan die in the comic book? Like, doesn't he get bitten or something, and then he just dies in a hospital bed? Well, in Alexandria. I mean, I'm pretty sure Morgan dies in the comic book.
Well, that's one of those things. If they choose to stick to the script 100%, then things aren't going to go all that wonderfully. If they choose to deviate, things could happen.
Yeah. I've already seen a major deviation in the TV show, like Andrea. Andrea is very alive in the comic book. She's actually Rick's love interest. And I was actually a little pissed off that they killed off Andrea. It was like, what the hell? Like, seriously. Like, what the hell? Like, in the TV show, Michonne is his new love interest. But, like, Andrea was, like, supposed to have a pivotal role in the TV show. As a matter of fact, Laurie Holden was actually offered a 9-season contract for The Walking Dead. She was not supposed. They weren't supposed to kill her off, and I don't know whose decision that was to do that, but I don't know. That just did not sit well with me.
Yeah, yeah. It's I like the Rick and Michonne setup. So I'm I'm interested to see how that plays out. I think Michonne is a really wonderful character, and I think she's one of those characters who can really get some things done and change the whole dynamic of what's going on.
You know what's funny about Michonne? Like I remember when season 2 ended. Like when I saw Michonne for the first time at the end of season 2, it's like, I mean, I didn't even know who she was. Like I was like, who the hell's that? Whoever, like, who's the chick with the swords? And well, I'm sorry, sword. And she saves Angela's ass at the end, season 2 when the zombie's about to, get on top of her and eat her. And I was like, because it didn't show her face. All you saw was like this hooded figure. You didn't know who it was. Like I didn't know who Michonne was until people started talking about Michonne in season 3, because that's when she was really prevalent and was in season 3. And they started showing a lot of Michonne. And I remember seeing the trailer for season 3, the Comic-Con trailer, and I thought Michonne was pretty cool. Like I like Michonne a lot. And I did have a fear that Negan was going to kill her. Like that she was going to be one of the victims, and I'm glad she wasn't. Like that would really upset me. A lot of people are upset that Glenn died. I think I'd be upset if Michonne died because she's like one of my favorite characters from The Walking Dead. She's like the female Daryl. That's how I describe her.
Yeah, she's definitely a pivotal character, and we're both gamers. I don't know if you've played any of the Telltale Games
Yes.
Walking Dead series.
Yes, I have. I actually got 100% on it for the trophies.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the Telltale Games Walking Dead series.
Mm-hmm.
And their Michonne series was just excellent. So
Yeah, I mean, it kind of acts like a story game. It's not really much of like actual gameplay. It's basically, you're just making choices and stuff. Like I remember playing the season 2 one because it was free, and I was like, I played through the whole thing. I got like all the trophies. I was like, this is kind of too easy. The trophies are way too easy to get. And like I said, it's not like you get to move around. It's basically sort of more or less a movie thing with QuickTime events.
yeah, it's a game series that people are either going to really like or really dislike. But I've played a lot of games along those lines. I don't know if you ever played the game Heavy Rain. It's very much like that. And so I enjoy games like that where it's like, hey, the choices you make dictate the outcome of what's going on here. And those sorts of games really they catch my attention.
Yeah, I played Until Dawn. I don't know if you played Until Dawn, but I played Until Dawn, and then the only reason why I even played that game was because it was like $20, and my cousin wouldn't shut up about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, Rob, you gotta try Until Dawn." I don't know if you got to play Until Dawn, and I'm not talking about the new one. I'm talking about the original one, not the new one for the PSVR, which I really need to get that, by the way. It's like $400 though. But the whole Until Dawn thing is like basically a game that has QuickTime events, and you have to make choices.
Well, the new Batman VR is like that too.
Yeah. But getting back to The Walking Dead, because this is a Walking Dead show. I don't know. I thought Carol was kind of loopy in that episode. She's like, when she sees Ezekiel and the tiger, she's like, "Oh, I'm was she saying of something being wonderful or something?" I don't know. We know exactly what she said, but it was kind of loopy and crazy, and it was kind of like she was making fun of Ezekiel. She's like, "Yeah, this guy's crazy. He thinks he's in make believe land, and I don't know. I guess I need to warm up to Ezekiel because he doesn't really. I'm not really crazy about the guy. He kind of, you know, I mean, he's okay. I just think he's a pacifist. It's like, do you know a part where? Now, I hope I got this guy's name right. The guy that got punched. His name's Axel, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Yeah.
All right. So one of the saviors, that long hair savior guy, he punches Axel in the face, and it's like Ezekiel's passive about it. He's like he tells everybody to lower their guns, and the guy's like, "Oh, great, hey, look at this, free shots." And the only time where Ezekiel sort of acts assertive is when he says to the head savior, "Tell your men to stop. Just tell your men to stop." And it's like he's basically kowtowing to Negan. It's like basically he's like one of the people that has to give to Negan.
Well, right now everybody thinks they have to give to Negan. I mean, everybody that's around thinks that the folks that are at Alexandria don't even know about Negan and the Saviors really yet. And when they find out, it looks like Rick's going to tell them, "Look, we got to do what this fucker says." I don't think between Alexandria and everyone else, all these other groups, they understand what size force that they have to contend with Negan and the Saviors. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I kind of looked on IMDb, and I kind of know what's going to happen. Actually, I know what's going to happen in season 4. And excuse me, season 4. I'm sorry. Excuse me, episode 4. Basically, Negan's going to go to Alexandria for his first offering, and I heard that Spence was like, "Hey, who the hell are you?" And he says to Negan, Rick's a bad leader, and I guess that kind of pisses Negan off because I know Spencer dies. Like, I heard Spencer dies. Like, spoiler warning, heard Spencer dies. Like, I don't know if they're gonna actually do that, because didn't they do that in the comic book where Spencer died for the hands of Negan?
I think so. It's been a while since I read.
Yeah. So yeah, and I heard I'm doing it again. I heard episode 4 is going to be 85 minutes long. I saw that on Facebook today that episode 4 is going to be 85 minutes long. So it's going to be a really long episode. I'm guessing, and this is just nice tattoo, by the way. I'm guessing that I almost did it again. Episode 4 is going to end where this is just my guess. Episode 4 is going to end where you're going to see Carl stowing away on the Savior's truck. If they stick to that storyline, which I really think they should. Like, don't you think they should stick to that?
I think so, yeah. I think they should. I don't know if they will, but I think they should.
But in the comic book, Rick, excuse me, in the comic book, Negan has this like interest in Carl. Like, he's very interested in Carl. Like, sort of like a father and son relationship, like taking him under his wing. Like, I know that's going to cause problems with Rick, because I know in the comic book, Rick was like going crazy, with Negan's like, "Give me back my son. I know you have him." And Negan's like, he doesn't kill Carl. He actually gives him back to Rick. I mean, I really, really hope they go with that line. And one thing I thought was interesting from the comic book is Negan is an opportunist. Like, seriously, like the whole idea of him having a harem, like a brothel of women. I really hope they stick to that. Like, I would love to see that. And I'm not saying put nudity on Walking Dead. I'm not saying that, but at least have his wives in this one room where the brothel is, and have them like in a bikini. I believe one of the girls who was supposed to be subservient to Negan, her name's Amber in the comic book, if I remember correctly. I really hope they stick to that storyline.
Yeah, I think they likely will. But again, we never really know with this show. I mean, we just don't. Um, so it's hard to make a guess at what's going to happen. I mean, it could all go sideways and south real quick.
Well, I would like to see them stick to the Carl storyline. Like, I can't believe I'm like past the TV show now. Like last year, I was like so far behind, but now I'm like so past the TV show now. Like, I already know things that are gonna happen that even hasn't happened on the TV show yet.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I'm looking into the comic book, and anybody who has not read the comic book, you should definitely read it. It's really dark too. Like, I was telling my girlfriend, because my girlfriend bought me Compendium 3, and she bought herself Compendium 1, and I was telling my girlfriend, I was like, Marnie, I'm just gonna let you know right now, comic book is way darker than the TV show, way darker. Like, if they were to put like what they have in the comic book on the TV show, it would have to go on HBO. It could not be on AMC. It's too dark for AMC to have that on cable TV. Like, I know from reading the comic book that Michonne repeatedly gets raped by the governor, like repeatedly raped by the governor. And I know in the comic book that, and I thought this was going to happen when Negan brought Rick into the trailer. Rick loses his hand in the comic book. Like, the governor cuts off his hand. Now, a lot of people thought, oh my God, he has an axe. He's bringing Rick into the trailer. Oh my God, he's going to cut off Rick's hand. Like, do you know what part when they're in the trailer in the TV show, and he finds a bottle of rubbing alcohol, and he's like, oh goody. Like, I thought he was sterilizing that axe to cut off Rick's hand. Like, I really thought that was going to happen.
Yeah, it definitely seems like something that could have happened there, and I thought they were going to twist it and have him actually cut Carl's arm off. So I was just like, oh shit.
Yeah, my heart was beating out of my chest during that scene. Like, I was like horrified. Like, I was more horrified by him fucking with Rick, telling Rick to cut off his son's arm, than I was with him bashing Glenn and Abraham's head in with Lucille. Like, I remember watching that scene, and I'm like, I was so horrified. I was like, no fucking way. Like, you've got to be kidding me. And I thought he was going to do it. Like, I really thought he was going to do it, because he says to Rick, do I have to count? Do you want me to count? He's like, okay, Rick, you win. And I was like, the sheer terror on Rick's face, and he's like crying and blubbering and saying, let be me, I'll do it. And Negan's like, nope, this is the only way. And just the idea that he's pointing guns at their back of their head, saying, if you don't do this, I'm going to kill everybody here is going to die, and you're going to witness every ugly thing. Do you really want these people to die? And oh my God, that was so horrifying. It was so horrifying, Casper. That was just brutal.
Yeah, it definitely stirred up some emotions for a lot of folks. So yeah, that's of course, it's one of those things that if you know anything about Rick, you can get to him through his kid, and through his kids, plural. Which luckily Negan doesn't know about the little one yet.
Yeah, I'm almost afraid to find out what's going to happen with that. Like, I don't know, because so far they have made Negan very sadistic. Like, so far it's like comic book Negan, TV show Negan, sadistic. Like, just the idea, and he even said to Rick, I know this is screwed up, and I know it's going to take you time to process it. Just the idea of him telling Rick to cut off his own son's arm, like, he thought Negan was going to do it. Negan's like, I'm not doing shit, and he, it's basically him telling Rick, cut off your son's arm or people are going to die. Like, dude, I don't know about you, but that's way past the governor. Way past the governor. The governor was bad. This guy is much worse.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. He's on a whole different level than the governor. Um, the governor, like I said before, the governor still had some sort of conscience about him. Negan doesn't, not on any level. Um, so I don't know. Negan is definitely a character that's going to change things up for a lot of people.
Um, like the thing about Negan is he has no problems with killing people, none whatsoever. It doesn't even face him whatsoever. It's like he's got no empathy. He's sociopathic. Like he has no remorse. It's like the part where he was basically letting Glenn suffer in the TV show, and he was playing off like he was being empathetic. He's like, "Oh, I know this is hard on you guys, and I really apologize." But then he's got this evil grin on his face. He goes, "But I did say no exceptions," and he just kept on beating Glenn to death. I'm, dude, that's like evil. That's like way past the governor. Like, I mean, I remember seeing the governor doing the shit he did, and a lot of people were booing him. Like, I remember during San Diego Comic Con, when season 4 was about to come out. I remember David Morrissey, the guy that played the governor. He went on stage, and people were booing him. Like, you're playing that part perfectly when people hate you when they boo you.
Here's the thing, though, like as sadistic as the character Negan is, Jeffrey Dean Morgan ain't gonna get that fucking response because
Well,
people love him as an actor. I
actually,
mean, it's just not going to be on that same level. I mean, people know him as an actor. Like I think a lot of the people that watch The Walking Dead were also Supernatural fans, and they're that's always going to be the Winchester's daddy, and so it's like, oh, I hate the character you're playing now, but I love you as an actor. And it's just one of those love hate relationships for people who know him. So I don't think he's going to get quite as bad a response.
what I want to talk about is that Jeffrey Dean Morgan has actually gotten death threats for his role as Negan. Now, come on, guys, this is just a TV show. Don't take it seriously. But some people are so pissed off at Negan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan's portrayal of Negan. Jeffrey Dean Morgan's getting death threats. That's ridiculous, guys. Don't send actors death threats. Okay, that's just not cool. But it's like, look, and this has happened with before. Like Brighton Sabero, the girl that played Lizzie in season 4, she was getting death threats because of the part where she's covering the baby's mouth. She's getting death threats over that. People need to not take the show seriously to the point where you're threatening actors. That's ridiculous.
I won't tell anybody to send him death threats, but you could send fucking Jared Leto some ugly ass fucking letters about his role as the Joker. Fucking ass clown.
Who? What?
Fucking Jared Leto.
I haven't seen that movie yet.
Yeah, he played the Joker in Suicide
Yeah.
Squad. It's fucking it was
Right, but what people need to understand is this is just a TV show. It's not real. It's not happening. Steven Yeun's very much alive. He didn't die in real life. It's just a TV show. And Jeffrey D. Morgan's actually a really nice guy. I mean, I heard he's really a good guy. I heard that guy's really nice. So people need to not take the show seriously.
Well, even the other actors in the show said that outside of him playing Negan, like they love Jeffrey. Like he's a cut up on the fucking set and shit. Like he's really fun to be around. But this is a man who immerses himself in a role, and when he's playing Negan, that's fucking Negan, and you know. It's just one of those things that if an actor is good at what they do, you believe them. You believe them in that fucking role, and he's good at what he does, man. He's a very very good method actor, but he doesn't take it to that point that some actors want to, where they're never out of character and shit, And that's I don't know. It's gotten to a ridiculous point with some actors in that on that level. That's another thing that just upsets me about Leto, and his role as the Joker. Like he was sending other castmates fucking dead animals and shit. Like, what the fuck
That's
are
a
you
little
doing?
much. That's a little much.
Yeah, he went off the fucking deep end, and then didn't play anything worthy of a good role, for what he was supposed to do. But it's a difference there. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, he plays Negan to a fucking T when he's in character, but
You know,
outside of that character, he's an awesome fucking dude.
yeah, and I was really worried about them casting Negan. Like, I remember when they first talked about casting Negan, like where they were talking about bringing Negan into the show and casting Negan. I was really concerned that they weren't going to pick the right actor for the part. Like, I was really concerned. Like, I know the character of Negan. I don't know if you know this or not, but the character Negan was actually modeled after Henry Rollins.
Mhm.
Now, I know that Henry Rollins auditioned for the role of Negan and he didn't get it, which I kind of don't understand that because that's the character that was modeled after. He's the guy that was modeled after Negan. And here's the thing: I guess when Henry Rollins auditioned for the part, he didn't get the character. He didn't understand what the character was about. So, I mean,
Yeah, Rollins is like that. He's one of those people that is Henry Rollins, no matter what he does. Like,
mhm.
um, I've seen him in some movies, and it's just like, oh, it's still Henry Rollins. Like, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't see you as anybody else. So
Um,
that's going to be one of those things. He's not really an actor. I mean, he's a musician and a performer, but he's not really an actor. So I don't think
right.
he really could pull off that role. I don't see it either.
And another actor I thought I thought was going to get the role of Negan was John Hamm. I thought John Hamm would have been a good pick, but like I think John Hamm has that look that Negan has. Like if you look at John Hamm, very good looking guy, very good. I mean, I'm not gay or anything, but he's a good looking guy. And I could see him as Negan. I could really see him as Negan. But my God, when they picked Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I was like, oh, who the hell is Jeffrey Dean Morgan? Is this guy going to really cut the slack? And then when he came out of that trailer, and he's got this big evil grin on his face, and he says, "Are we pissing our pants yet? I think we're getting close. It's going to be Pee Pee Pants City real soon." And I heard him speak, and I cracked up laughing. This guy is sadistic. I love him. It's like, I don't mean to sound sick, but I actually like Negan. Like, I think he's a great character. Like, he was like enjoying that shit. Like when he was like about to beat Maggie and Glenn flipped out, he had that evil smile on his face. Like he was enjoying that shit. I like villains like that.
Well, I think I like his character for the show, for the progression of the show, because I think that all the people in these communities, they need to be reminded, that the biggest evil out there is other people, not fucking walkers. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can get overrun by walkers, and yeah, that's fucked up, but there's no sadistic consciousness behind it. And people, when they lose their shit, uh, can go far beyond, what walkers could ever be.
Right, and that's one. And we were talking about this earlier. Is that that's something that George Romero doesn't understand is that the bigger threat is the living. That's the bigger threat. Don't worry about the walkers. The walkers are manageable. I mean, Rick has done a really good job managing the walkers. But have you ever watched Nostalgia Critic?
No.
All right, I will actually link you this later. There's this guy, his name's Doug Walker, and he calls himself the Nostalgia Critic. And he did this thing about zombies. Like, he did this whole video about zombies and what's the appeal of zombies. Why do people love zombies? And he went on to talk about the George Romero movies and how they were, the start of the zombie genre. And then he talked about The Walking Dead. And he basically said, this show is not like typical zombie movies. It's about the breaking down of humanity, the breaking down of society. And he basically said, this show beats you down. Like, it beats you down to the point where, you relate to the characters. You understand they're in a hopeless situation here. That's the appeal of The Walking Dead, is that it breaks you down to the point where it leaves you scared and desperate, and you want to see what's going to happen next.
Yeah, most definitely. And just speaking on zombies, I'm a huge fan of the book, World War Z, and I liked the movie. I thought the movie was a very good portrayal of a lot of what the book's like. It left out a lot of parts that were in the book that really made that a provocative and it gave that book a lot of appeal to me. But um, I think that's an instance where you see zombies as a threat. And even in Romero movies, zombies are only a threat there because you have small groups of people. In World War Z, I mean, zombies are a threat because they outnumber any group you're ever going to put together. And it's just that's where zombies themselves become something that's dangerous. Walkers in The Walking Dead, they're slow moving, mindless, flesh bags. And that's, like you said, that's manageable with a big enough group of people.
Right.
So you can't have that be the focal point and the only source of real fear. And especially, you have to understand with The Walking Dead, we're talking about years after the outbreak. It's not like the outbreak just fucking happened. With Fear the Walking Dead, you get, closer to that, the outbreak just happened. You can get overrun by a horde real fucking quick with even a big group of people. And the Walking Dead, it's we're talking years later. Things definitely have become a lot more manageable. People have come to understand that you can deal with zombies. You just have to be careful and not get overrun.
Right. And it's like I said, that it's the living. And what's funny is 6 years ago, when the show premiered, almost 7 years now, but 6 years ago when the show premiered, I didn't really watch it. Like, I knew nothing about it. I knew nothing about the show. And I didn't have cable back then, so I couldn't watch it. But I was in Walmart one day, and I was going through the electronic aisle looking at DVDs, and I came across season 1. And it's like, and I'm looking at it, I was like, I heard some good things about this show. And I asked one of the store clerks if they had seen the show and if the show was good or not. And they said, yeah, if you like, zombies and a good story, definitely check out The Walking Dead. So I remember buying the DVD, and oh my God, I paid $40 for this DVD. It was like season 1. And I bought it home and I started watching it. And you know what? I just couldn't stop watching. I watched all 6 episodes back to back. Like, I was even wondering what was going to happen to Merle. It's like, okay, they go on Orlando, they go back for Merle, but he's not there. What happened to Merle? And here's the thing: when the final episode ended, like, the season finale, which back then I didn't know that was the season finale. I thought I was going to see more episodes. I was like, whoa, that's it? Like, I wanted to see more. It's like I got hooked on that show. And I remember, seeing the trailer for season 2, and I was like real excited because I wanted to see what's going to happen next. And that's what's great about this show, is because it always ends where it kind of like a cliffhanger, and you just want to wait to see what happens next. Like, that's the mark of a good show, when they just keep you, make you want to keep on watching.
Yeah, definitely. We're coming to the end of our show here, so I want to issue a final thought here, and a bit of a little bit of prognostication, if you will. For everyone out there who's watching this show and who watches The Walking Dead, I know you're hoping for that moment when the big battle is going to take place between Negan and everybody or somebody. It ain't coming this season, folks.
Really?
It ain't. No. It ain't coming this season. They're gonna that's gonna be our cliffhanger at the end. It'll be getting close, but it ain't coming this season. We're gonna have little feuds, but that grand battle, yeah, we're gonna have to wait for that.
Maybe season
Um,
8.
yeah, yeah, we're gonna have our palates wetted with some good juicy bits up till then, but we ain't getting that big fight yet. So that's my bit of prognostication. That's my bit of you know just a thought for what we're gonna see here. We're not gonna see that battle. I bet $1 to a donut that we definitely don't get it, and that's going to be the cliffhanger we're left on. So um, we'll see if I'm right. Let's see how this season goes, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about that one.
So you think that season 7 is going to end in a cliffhanger like season 6 ended?
Similarly, yeah, I think people are going to be in a fucked up situation. I think we're going to get left with a lot of unanswered questions, and I think we're going to get left with wondering where things are going to go because we're not going to get any sort of real closure going into season 8. And that's how they keep us hooked, and I love that they do it. I appreciate that they do that because I don't want the show to go too fast. And one other thing, I have to say, I find it commendable that even with the success of this show, they haven't struck out and reached out there and said, "Hey, let's make a movie." I appreciate that.
God.
Please
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah,
Please don't make a
don't make
movie.
it
I,
into a
I don't.
movie.
I don't want that. I don't think anybody really wants that. Yeah, we'll go see it. We'll fucking throw our money
You
at
know,
you,
I
but
would
don't
need to
do
see
that.
them make a movie of it where it's like one of the episodes, but to see the episode, you have to go to theater to see it. That would really piss me off.
Well, I mean, you give me a 2 hour long episode, I'll watch it on TV just as quick as
Yeah,
I'll go to the movies.
I
Um,
agree with you. I don't think The Walking Dead needs to be a movie. It's fine as a TV show. It's great as a comic book. Don't make it into a movie.
yeah. Well,
All right,
I
we're
guess
going overtime
we've run
here.
up. Yeah.
So, I guess I'll say goodbye, and we'll be back next week with a new conversation about episode 3.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
All right, thanks.